Welcome back to the channel. Big fan of sports, as you guys can tell, and one of my favorite positions in football is wide receiver. So I've already done a quarterback tier list, and I've done a running back tier list, but I decided for this position in particular, take it an extra step. You can tell by the title, top 100 wide receivers in the NFL. Now, I'm not going to say this is the perfect list. This is basically where my mind went. Like, this is who I just think is better based off what I've seen from tape, based on how you produce, based on your role. I take into account a lot of criteria. But with that said, we're going to go over all 100 receivers, just making it one big video. I'm not going to go in depth on all these players, but we're going to move up until we get to number one. We'll start off with number 100. 100 to, and then it's color coded based on tiers. So, um, first tier is the bottom tier. I don't have a special name for it, but we got players like Noah Brown, Kendrick Bourne, Tyler Boyd, Luke McCaffrey, Jahan Dotson, Josh Palmer, Ray Ray McLeod, Cedric Tillman, Alan Lazar, Elijah Moore, Calvin Austin, Tutu Atwell, Greg Dortch, Keishon Butte, Trey Tucker, Demarcus Robinson, and Quinn Johnson. This is the bottom tier of wide receivers. For the most part, these are wide receiver threes. I don't really think that any of them has broken out yet. Now, some of these young ones like Luke McCaffrey can break out to be a wide receiver too, but he definitely wasn't that last year. But these are my bottom tier for the top 100. All right, next tier, much larger tier. I'm gonna have to zoom out a little bit. One player. I'm gonna at the very least bring up one player. Quentin Johnson being on the bottom tier, I feel like makes sense. He's a player who gets production based off opportunity, not skill. He's more of a deep throw merchant, and he's not really that good on the catch point, contested catch point. He's not a really elite yak guy. There's just a lot of skills that he doesn't have, but he has the speed and the size, but he can't capitalize off of it. So that's why he's in the bottom tier. All right. All right. This is the second tier. MVS, Jalen Hyatt. I'm personally might be a little biased to the New York Giants. I just think Jalen Hyatt's really good, and I just don't think he should get the opportunity. Mike Williams, Tim Patrick, Rondale Moore, Pop Douglas, Nick Westbrook Akine, Brandon Cooks, Darius Slayton, Andre Osivas, Dontavian Wicks, Devon Vele, Sterling Sharp, Matt Collins, Michael Wilson, Olamide Zacchaeus, Keon Coleman, Leggett, Ricky Pearsall, Marvin Mims, Jalen McMillan, Jalen Coker, Jalen Tolbert, and DeAndre Hopkins. This is my second to last tier. A lot of, for the most part, if you guys can't tell, receivers that are in the same tier are pretty interchangeable. But I think a player like MVS showed a little bit at the end of the season that he was still a guy, a really good deep threat for a team as a third option. Definitely not a good receiver on a good team, but someone who can make some good moves as a third option. Jalen Hyatt, I do think, has similar skills that just hasn't been optimized. Mike Williams, of course, big body, high catch point receiver. Tim Patrick really showed that he was a very good weapon for the Detroit Lions. Rondale, I still think he got that gadget, speed, playmaking ability. He just was injured all last year. Pop, similar. Westbrook Akine had a good last chunk of the season. Cook, Slayton, Andre, pretty good third to somewhat second options. Wicks has the really elite route running, just hands are bad. Vele just needs more of a sample size. Shepard had some good games. Matt Collins had some good moments as a wide receiver three. Wilson, Zacchaeus. The thing about Leggett, Coleman, and Pearsall, we just need a bigger sample size, but the skill and the talent is there. Of course, some mistakes here and there, but you could definitely see it's there. So I'm banking on upside. Mims, same thing. McMillan, same thing. Coker, same thing. Tolbert, same thing. And DeAndre just has really good hands now. He just is not as good as he used to be. So that might be still a little low to some people. Let's go to the next tier. I'm zooming a little bit so you guys are not really getting spoiled. Okay. Xavier Worthy, Wan'Dale Robinson. Again, biased to the Giants receivers. I just think Wan'Dale's good. Christian Kirk, Roma Dunze, Adonai Mitchell, Christian Watson, Alec Pierce, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Adam Thielen, Rashad Bateman, Darnell Mooney. I think a lot of these guys can be very solid number 2 options on a team, worthy of criticized quite consistently. I don't think he's really great in a lot of areas, but his speed can be a difference maker on a team. He had some good plays on the Chiefs. Wan'Dale Robinson, I think, could be a solid number 2. I think he is a good hands, a good catcher, definitely good playmaker. He just needs a better quarterback to maximize his abilities. Christian Kirk, we know who Kirk is, regressing but still solid number 2 option. Roma Dunze, I do think the talent is there, just wasn't able to optimize it in the Bears offense. Adonai Mitchell, similar, wasn't able to optimize the talent that is on the Colts, because of the Colts offense, and more specifically Anthony Richardson's inaccuracy. Christian Watson, really good speed, big body. He has the traits. He's just always unhealthy. Alec Pierce is big, good speed, good hands. He's a really good deep threat. And honestly, he should not be on the Colts. They have way too many weapons. Romeo Dobbs, big body, great hands. Jaden Reed, I think, is an excellent playmaker that was not really utilized properly the recent season, even though he was their best receiver for the most part since he's been on the team. Adam Thielen, very reliable. Rashad Bateman had a breakout season this season, really good. Same with Darnell Mooney. I think they both had really good seasons as number 2 options. All right. Let's go next tier. Deontay Johnson, Josh Downs, Calvin Ridley, Juwan Jennings, Deebo Samuel, Jacoby Myers, Michael Pittman, Cortland Sutton, Raheem Shaheed, Khalil Shakir, Jerry Jeudy, Juwan Jennings, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. Now we're getting a little bit more of an interesting place in my next tier of wide receivers. Amari Cooper, I'm baking that the skill set's still there because he looked terrible last year, but I'm going to have hope that it was just something else that was preventing him from cooking guys in the route tree and making some spectacular catches. Keenan Allen had a pretty solid season. Bears offense was just very inefficient. I think he showed some good moments, but Caleb just kept missing him. Juwan Jennings is a big dude, and it really has number 1 receiver potential on the 49ers, or at the very least the second receiving option next to George Kittle. Huge guy. One of the best hands in football right now. Juwan Jennings was spectacular. Jerry Jeudy had a breakout season. His route tree obviously still doesn't have the greatest hands, but if he can get open and make plays, that's what he's going to do. Rashid Shaheed was arguably the best deep threat in football this year until he got injured. I think people need to really wake up that this guy's a playmaker. Cortland Sutton, also one of the best hands in football. He doesn't really get open, but he can make a catch. Michael Pittman, down year, don't know what's going on. I heard he got an injury, but he's usually a very reliable receiver. Jacoby Myers was pretty solid all the way around as a second option after Brock Bowers. And he was solid last year too with Davante Adams. Deebo Samuel, still a playmaking demon. I have Juwan Jennings on this list twice. I messed up there. I don't know why I did this, but okay, my list is not top 100, but it's a mistake on my part. My apologies. Calvin Ridley had some flashes. Will Levis is terrible. Josh Downs is one of the better slot receivers, but again, AR is not good. Deontay Johnson was very good on the Panthers. He just was crashing out crazy, but he is a good receiver. All right, next tier. These tiers are people who could be pretty good wide receiver ones. At the very least, they're elite number 2s. So Jameson Williams, breakout season. Tank Dell has skills. He's just always injured. Zay Flowers also had a good season this year. Jalen Waddle has always been pretty good. Great playmaker, great speed. Jordan Addison had a good season this year next to Jettis. Olave got all the skills. Rashee Rice has he has sharpened his tools. He's a really good yak guy, really good slot guy. And I think he will be the Chiefs' number 1 receiver moving forward. Ladd McConkey had a breakout rookie year. Marvin Harrison Jr., I'll give him respect because he has some really good traits, even though Ladd was better this year, but it's still Marvin Harrison Jr. George Pickens and Marvin will probably be compared to each other a lot moving forward because both of them, in terms of contested situation, in terms of hands, are demons. Chris Godwin, very good number 2. He is the complete package. Brandon Ayuk, I'll give some respect because he is an elite route runner. He just was very mid to trash last year. DK is a physical specimen. I'll give him some respect. DJ Moore, I'll give him respect even though he had a pretty mess season last season. Usually he's pretty good all around. Last season was just a weird season for him. T. Higgins, we know who T is, and we know who Smitty is. So we're hitting the top 20. So my 20th best receiver right now is DJ Moore. My 19th is T. Higgins and 18th Devontae Smith. So far so good. It's kind of crazy how far Brandon Ayuk fell, to be honest, considering he was arguably top 15 last year. These are the receivers that are moving crazy up in the list. I'm gonna have to zoom in. I already spoiled the list for you guys, but we'll talk about it. All right, now that we're at the top 20, number 17 in the next tier, JSN complete package. He is showing why he was one of the best receivers in college. He has a really good route tree. He's a great playmaker. He is good on the catch point. JSN is the full package. Him and Garrett Wilson are very comparable in what they provide as wide receivers. Very skilled. Honestly, Garrett Wilson still hasn't had the production season that JSN really. Oh, actually, Garrett Wilson actually had a pretty good production season, all things considered. So I won't say that. But people expect him to break out to be a top 10 receiver. I'm still waiting on seeing that. But two rookies that I do think has showed that they can be elite playmakers with bad quarterback play. Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors. They had bad quarterbacks, and both of them had all-time rookie wide receiver seasons. I personally think Neighbors is better, but if you have Brian Thomas Jr. over him, that's why they're in the same tier. It's not a big deal. But Brian Thomas Jr., big body, really good route tree, high-end potential. Neighbors has all the skills in the world right now. Great speed, great playmaking, great catching ability, great route runner. He has it all. Cooper Kupp, giving respect because Cooper Kupp is still really good. Amazing route runner, really good hands. Will he start declining? Maybe this is too high for Cooper Kupp. I'm fine if you think that. It's possible that he could decline even more next year, depending on the new team he goes to. We'll see. Mike Evans, I think it's time to respect Mike Evans. I mean, this man keeps on producing year after year after year after year. Despite injuries, despite lack of weapons, he is still a demon. I'm just respecting Mike Evans at this point. Next tier, Stephon Diggs, Drake London, Davante Adams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Puka. People are now respecting my boy Drake London. Dude, it can run the routes being at like 6'4". He has an amazing high point. He's a good yak, but the biggest thing, he has elite hands. And he's an elite contested catcher. He is a 1v1 demon. He's like... George Pickens is very good at contested catching and spectacular catching, but Drake London can do all that, plus he's better all around. So Drake London, fantastic receiver, despite not being used in his most optimal way. Davante Adams still got the skills, definitely declined, but still got the amazing route running, good hands. Amon-Ra St. Brown, even though he's a slot guy, he is the best slot guy in the NFL right now. He has one of the best hands in football. He is one of the best route runners in the slot in football. He's an elite blocker, which is undervalued. Amon-Ra St. Brown. So top 10, Davante, Drake, Amon-Ra, number 7, Puka Nacua. I mean, Puka is going to start making an argument that he is going to be tier 1 to tier 2 moving forward. Puka is amazing. Great hands, great yak, can contest catch with anybody. Route tree is fantastic. Puka is going to be one of them next in tier 1 guys. Is just got to stay healthy. Next tier, Nico Collins, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill. Respect Tyreek Hill because he is Tyreek Hill. And then Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. So top 10 is Drake, Davante, Amon-Ra, Puka, Nico, CD, AJ, Tyreek, Jamar, and Justin Jefferson. So those are my top 100 receivers in football. Disagree? Let me know in the comments. I'll respond to you. With that said, you have a good one. Take care.